So let's work on getting this background in here next, okay? So to get that background color in there, it's going to be a real gentle gradient. So you can see it's pretty white to the inside, and it goes out to this kind of darker grayish brown color. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a new layer, and I want to make sure that layer is behind all my stuff that I have so far. It doesn't have to be behind the background, so I haven't messed with the background there. But this new layer right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of constrain my new work here to that area. I don't want it going over the entire 17-inch document. I just want it over my sample area. So I'm going to grab the rectangular marquee tool, M if you're a Photoshop player. Obviously I'm not because I didn't do it. And I'm going to select this entire area right here on this document. Okay, so you can see my marching ants right there. So we're good to go. And then, so anything I do, it's going to constrain it just to that area. I'm going to grab my gradient tool, which is right here, or you can hit G on your keyboard. So I'll hit G right there. And then I want to make sure that I have the right colors, because right now, if I was to draw a gradient, I've got this kind of green color right there, kind of weird colors. And not only that, but it's also a linear gradient, which means when it goes from one side to another side. No matter how I draw, you can see like that the gradient's going to go that direction. So the longer the line, the more gentle the gradient, and the shorter the line, the more harsh the gradient. So obviously it's the wrong colors, and it's also a linear gradient, and I want a radial gradient. So let's do colors first. So for the colors, to change the color of a gradient, if you just double click on that thing right there, it's going to bring up your gradient editor. And the gradient editor is going to show you stops on your thing here. So if I go to here and I say, okay, color, I don't want it to be that color. I'm going to double click on that stop, and I'm going to go to this kind of darker color out there like that, right? So it selects that color. So I'll click OK. And for this one here, I'm going to double click, and I'm going to go right about here, which is kind of the lightest area I can find. And it's not quite white. It's a little bit gray, right? So I'll click OK there. OK. And now if I click and draw, you'll see, well, now I've got the right colors. It's not going the right way though still. It's still a linear gradient. To make it a radial gradient, I'm going to click on this like that. Now I can have it click and drag and grow out, and I get those colors. Big problem here though is that it's going the wrong direction, right? So I want it to go from the center to lighter out to darker colors. You could go and recreate this entire gradient over again, but that would be dumb. All we need to do is click on this little button right here that says reverse. And now if I click from the center point out, I kind of create this perfect same look as we have here. So you can see we've got the same color scheme all going on both sides there. So that corner right there is the same color as that corner right there. And it's really kind of starting to come together. You can see it on your layer right there. There's that really nice looking gradient. And that's good, all right? So if I press Command D, that'll deselect right there. And then let's do this photograph right here, okay? So my expectation now is that you are going to put a photograph of yourself in here. I don't have any time to take a photo of myself and put it in there. I'm actually going to use this Robert Downey Jr. picture. Will you please just grab any photo of yourself that is you with a full body shot. We want to kind of cut it off at mid thigh like you did in this one here, okay? And what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to mask this out real fast. I'm going to duplicate it, mask him out, and then you'll be able. Then I'm just going to use this photograph and put it over the top, even with my name on there. So I'll do that real fast here. So I'm going to select this, Command J it, go to my Move tool. So I hit M, or excuse me, V, move it over here. And I want it to go on top. I'm gonna hold down Shift real fast there. I want it to go on top, so I'll move that to the very top row like that. And now I'm gonna mask this out really quickly. Best way to mask, start with your quick select, W, and I go Shift W, because mine went to Magic Wand tool, okay? Then I'm just gonna make some quick selections here. So I'm selecting him real fast, and it's gonna mess up, all right? And that's fine, because all I need to do now is kind of go in, use this, use my Option key, and kind of clean up the edges. So I'll do that real quick. I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want any of that. I don't want that. And all I'm doing is I'm just looking at the lines around him. So if I come down here, hold down Option, get rid of some of the stuff that we don't want to have. And that looks good. That looks good. Goes around his leg. That's fine. It's good there. Up here, not so good. So let's go like this. And you may have to take more time. That's fine. I definitely want to add his top of his ear into there. I don't want to include that stuff. So that looks pretty nice like that. And oops, let me go ahead and get this back to here. 0. And so I've got that stuff there. Now, if I just click on the mask button, there we go. I have successfully masked him out and put him on my page. Again, I want this to be you, right? So a photograph of you that looks kind of similar to that. So that quick select worked really, really well. Look at that. If you're having a hard time with your photograph, then why don't you just go ahead and take one using the green screen in the room right now, because it'll just make your life super easy. Again, when you're masking, having a high contrast background will make all the difference in the world for you, okay? So yeah, so now really what this is about trying to recreate some text that's on here. So without boring you to death with me doing all of this text stuff here, just know that you just all we want to do is, I'll do this very first one here, and then I'll let you do the rest there. The assignment that I'm going to ask for this assignment, what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you do all of, let me grab a paintbrush real fast here, a brush, let me give a color that you can see. I want you to make sure that you have all of this text here. Whoops, I'm on a mask. It's not working, Mr. Girardi, it's not working. Okay. I want you to make sure that you've got all this text on here. I need to rasterize that there. I want this stuff right here. Oh, gosh darn it. Got to change color so you can see. I want you to put this text in, all this text right here. I want you to put all this text in here, including that box, which I'll go over that box with you in just a minute here. And then I want you to put this text in right there, okay? I do not care about, don't worry about that. Don't worry about any of that. I don't care about that. Okay, but I want you to recreate this text that you see there, okay? So let me do this. How about this box that's right there? That would be a good one to know how to do. So that's kind of a tougher one there. So what we'll do is I'm just going to make a new layer for that box right there. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my tool here. And I'm going to go to the rounded rectangle tool, because that's what that is. It's a rounded rectangle. And I'm just going to draw it right over the top of this one that's right there. And then I'll move it over when it's done. Now, I filled it with a color, which is kind of freaking me out a little bit, but I know that I can go right over here to my properties panel, and I can say, okay, don't fill it with anything. That'll make the fill go away. And then once we've got this rounded rectangle, I can double click over here, and now I can do some things to make my rounded rectangle look like that one. Well, it's filled with nothing, which is fine. I need to get this kind of the big stroke going on there. So I'm going to go stroke right here. And for the color for this stroke, I don't want it to be that color that we had before. I want it to be that color. All right. So I just recreated that color. And I'm going to go ahead and make this so that it is a little bit larger. Oops. A little bit larger for a stroke. Click, click. Maybe I'll click OK. Oh, derp. All right, click OK on the color stroke there. I'm going to make sure this, I'm going to have this go to the center. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. So I'll make it like size, let's try like size 30 point. I'll actually type in 30 right there. All right. And then I want a second stroke on it. And the second stroke is going to be on top right there. So I can see like the word stroke is already there. If you don't see a second stroke, what you need to do is you'll have to click on this little plus button, and that will give you a second stroke. Now, if I click on the second stroke like that, I want to kind of replicate what I did before, but with a little bit different colors. So here's what I want to do. I want to make sure that it goes to the center like I did before. And I want this to be smaller. So I'll probably do something about like size 10. So I'll go right here and type in 10. Aha, some things are happening for us. And then for color, I want the color to be this gold color again. So I'll choose that gold color. And if you don't want to use that gold color and I want to make sure it matches exactly, I can use this one. It's pretty much the same. Click on OK. Take a look at that. Now I've got that really cool looking thing. Click on OK there. and I can zoom out, go to my move tool, and I'm going to hold down shift and click and drag, and that'll keep it perfectly in place and put that right there. Just like that, right? So then when I start filling in this text, I can make that text look exactly like that. A little bit of a problem here, that is on top of the photograph. So I'm just going to take this rounded rectangle layer and I'll put it behind the photograph. So it's just like that. It looks perfect. Okay. So the rest of this class now, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have this text here, the text that's in this area right there, and this text that you see right there. I've shown you how to do the box. This photograph needs to be you, needs to be really masked out well, just like mine is right there. And everything else would be ready and good to go. At this point, let's pretend that I am done with this text. I'm done with that text. I'm done with that text. Everything is done, ready to go. Okay, so here's what I got to do. I got to get rid of this thing so that I have my final document. So I'm going to go to File. Excuse me, not File. What am I doing? I'm going to crop this document. So I'm going to hit C for crop. And then I'm just going to go ahead and make sure this ratio is turned off. So I want to clear this. I want no ratio. And I'm going to go ahead and draw so that what's showing is just my new document. So I'll go to my new document, go there. Then I'll go drag this over here like that. Okay, that's showing. I'll click on that mark right there. And I got to fix that red, but I'll take care of that. Okay, so now I've cropped out all the stuff that I don't need anymore. If those guides are bothering you, you can always go to View, Clear Guides. That gets rid of all the guides. And you should have a document that's pretty done there. So then I can go to Save, make sure I have this PSD. So I'll go Sample, Magazine Cover. That's in, I'll save it to my desktop. All right, that's the PSD. If I need to change anything, I still can. Now I'll go to File, Save As, and I'll save myself a JPEG copy as well. So I'll save that to my desktop, make sure that's set to maximum and all that. Okay, and that concludes this. That makes this document completely done. This is the one you'll submit, and now your job is to create your own magazine cover from scratch, but you can use a sample. So find a Sports Illustrated or something that can be somewhat challenging for you, okay? Good luck and have fun with it. Keep in mind, you're going to need to do props and do a really cool job. We'll set up the portrait studio for you for next week when I get back, and we'll really do a great job on it. All right? Okay, thanks for watching.